Ma'am, please. And I know I'm just now meeting you for the first time. And first of all, any comments? Now you're from Fort Wayne, am I correct?
I'm actually originally from Maryland. I just moved to Fort Wayne in 2007.
What city in Maryland?
Well, I'm kind of from all over. Silver Spring, I'm a Palmer Park girl. I'm from the hood, as most people don't know, but I am from the hood. I'm from a very well-known hood in Maryland where we did a lot of things. So this stuff is nothing new to me.
Wow. So I want to touch on that, but first, this is how our forums go. We pull black people together, and they're different. They're rowing in the same direction, but what did you learn most about? If you weren't from, well, you're not from here. Any comments about these Fort Wayne black people?
Well, the biggest thing I have is I actually enjoyed sitting here because it gave me the extra passion that I needed to move forward, because we are from the Eagles Nest. We are doing our program over there, and we're trying to open up on May 31st, actually, have our grand opening. But sitting in a room with people that have the drive and the passion to get us as a community forward, it shows us that we have what it takes. We just have to put it in action. We actually have to do something about it. It's no longer time to talk about it. We actually have to do something, and we have the resources. We have the people that have the knowledge, the skills, the desire. We just have to come together. Like he said, we have leaders here, 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 and here. We have to have a central place, and we're looking forward for the Eagles Nest to be that central place, because I want the youth to have access to the theater arts, and all of our programs, farming, all of that. Even things that's not immediately available right here on the south side of Fort Wayne, I want them in other areas doing things, anything that they're interested in.
That is so interesting because, you are correct. We have all the resources, but we've had all the resources for years. It's time for a mutiny. All the so-called leaders need to be fired and give the mics to these young guys, because I'm seeing that I appreciated their fire here today, and but a lot of the other guys, they want to. I'm a little bit older than everybody, and they sit back and just philosophize, and then they go home and nothing gets done. And I'm glad to see that not only yourself but these other people have the fire to run these folks over unless they get out of the way.
Right, and that's the problem. Sitting down and discussing it, you have to have a plan to know where you're going to go. So sitting down and discussing it, what are our problems, how do we solve it, that's essential. But now let's pass the torch to those people that can actually take the action, because there's nothing wrong, because every business, has their board of directors that sit back and talk about it. But it's the people that under them that do the action, and that's what it is. We can have a council, we can have our churches come together, because they did for a moment. Nothing really came of it, but they did come together and try to have a forum about what they were going to do to address our issues. And okay, let's do that. Let's discuss it. Let's say this is what we're going to do. Send people out there. Send your church members out there. Send those people out there that's willing to say, I'll step in some mud. I'll get dirty. If that's what it takes for us to get where we need to go, let's get dirty. Let's get dirty together. We will roll around in some mud together, but as long as we come out together and we're all going forward.
Let me ask you something here. Okay, you're from the East Coast there, from Maryland, where there are more blacks there. How are the pastors? Are the pastors just like these guys here? Are the pastors there like people are saying our pastors are here, or are they actually galvanized, and do they roll together, and are they progressive in terms of making change and getting things done?
It's half and half. There are churches, there's more churches there that are willing, but that's just because it's just a bigger, it's just a bigger area. But it's almost like Fort Wayne, where you have your churches that are willing to help, that are willing to get out there and willing to say, hey, Yes, somebody just got shot over there, a couple hours ago, but we're out here, and we're going to show them that God is not, what I'm saying, in fear. He did not give us a spirit of fear. And we're going to be out there and we're going to say, hey, we don't want them to, feel like, we don't want anyone to feel like the church is the only way to make it, but God is the head, should be the head of all of our lives. And in that, our churches, from where I'm from, we stick to that and we say, hey, we may not be able to give you the money for your rent, but we can make sure that we can give you something, and that's what it is. But then at the same time, you still have a lot of churches that have become selfish, and it's about, what can you do for the church? How much money can the church raise so we can go open this new building over here so we can have more people, but we're still not going to actually do anything. And I've been in a church, a big church, that we did a simple car wash, and people from the community didn't even want to come and participate because they said, you guys have been there for so many years and not one time have you all said anything to anyone that lives around you. We had houses all around us. Not one time have we reached out. As a young person, I didn't know that. I didn't know what that meant. But now as an adult, and that's the thing, young people want to do better. Nobody really wants to fail. But we have to give them the access to the things that they need to succeed.
And one last thing, one of your young guys mentioned that there's about at least 8 churches in this area right here. There's actually about over 20 within a stone's throw of this building right here. Is the slave mentality as bad there as it is here?
It is, but it's not really about the church when it comes to that, because individually,
I didn't mean the church. I mean this in a general sense.
Yeah, in the general sense, the slave mentality is there because there's always somebody that wants to do something without laying the foundation to do it. And if they can't just jump out there and make $1 million, they feel like, oh, well, they're holding me down. They're doing this, they're doing that. But at the same time, there's certain things that you can do to get yourself to where you need to go. Like the vision board that they talked about. Have a vision for yourself and what you want to succeed. And the mentality is that we can't do anything until they give us permission to do it. And so it's a lot of people even now sitting back on their talents and their passions because nobody said, here, do it. But now we have to take the drive to say, let's do it, regardless of what the next person is going to look at me and say, because, oh, in your past you've been this and you've said this and you've done that. We're worrying about today, because that was one of the things that we talked about, and Ms. Trigg talked about when she was up. People are going to judge you for your past, always, but it's a matter of starting today and moving forward. Use your past as a catalyst to move forward and do better and be better.
Well, I want to thank you very much for speaking with me, but I've got to disagree with you on one thing, though. Yes, the people will judge you and hold your past against you here. The people here hold anything against you here. They look for things to hold against you, and I've noticed that people get discouraged because they feel like they're not adequate to address certain things. But this community is so clever with its status quo mechanism to keep things from changing that no matter which perspective you come from, they got something for you to make you feel like you're not good enough. And that's the one thing that we got to address here that nobody's really speaking to, But anyway, thank you very much. And we do plan to have another camera or something like that and be out there in this march here with you, because that should be most interesting. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you.